It takes 17 years in average. Research shows that from the abuse happens to that you're able to talk about the abuse. So that means that most films have protagonists that are quite grown up. And I wanted to make a film where the protagonists were very young so that it was a short way for a young audience to identify with the protagonist. And so I went to the police department that does all the interviews with children who's been sexually abused and are going to court with their case. And after spending a lot of time with them, they said, we had a girl here many years ago and she just turned 18 and we could never forget her. And if you want to meet her, we can introduce you. And that's how I met Emilie for the first time. When I met her in that first meeting, I felt that she tried to come forward with her story so many times, every time she changed school or every time she changed her foster family. But everyone around her kind of built a wall of taboo, telling her that she shouldn't talk about her past because then she would only become her abuse and nothing else. And I think also Emilie, she's a very quiet young girl. She's very strong, but like deep inside. And I think listening to Emilie is not only listening to her words, but also listening to her body language. And I felt very strong about pointing the camera to her. And we used like a 50mm lens. So it means the camera was really like this close to her the whole time. And then everyone else is blurred. And I think to give her that space, that was the concept that we really tried to stay. Making a film about sexual abuse and having someone that young to be part of the film, I think is really important to do something beyond putting the film in the cinema. And so we created a big impact project around this film, which means basically to use the film as a tool to create change, playing together with NGOs, with the government, with public workplaces. So in that way, I feel also that the film found a way to create change. Now it's a shift, at least in Norway, that owning your own story can be very empowering, taking control of the narrative of your own story. And I think Emilie really feels that with this film. And I think also the film helped her to break the family taboo in many ways. And I think the burden of carrying a secret or something you can't talk about amongst the people that are the closest to you, that's a very heavy burden to carry. And when that box is when you're able to open up that box, I think that really helps you to get all the pieces back in place. And I think for Emilie, she's been seen as a victim more than a survivor for so long, but that she sees herself now in the role of somebody who helps other people. She gives hope to other survivors and she gives knowledge to adults who work with children. So I think that just to know that you are important, that's something that really changed a lot for her. Like, it's very human to be able, to want to give advice, to point to solutions. Like, I feel tired, I don't want to go on a shoot today, or I don't want to take the bus, Yeah, but if we're just sitting behind in the bus, it's fine. It's very easy to do these things, but to really listen and try to understand what she really means, And I think that's something that I really learned from Emilie. And for me, it's been such an honor and pleasure to work with her and to be able to understand more of what it means to be human.